You finally got the thing, the promotion, the raise, the relationship, the number you'd whispered to yourself for years. If I just hit that, I'll finally feel okay. And you hit it. For one bright moment, standing there, it felt incredible. Your chest went warm. You'd made it. An hour passed, a day, maybe a week, and then you felt it drain out of you, like warm water running through your fingers. And that old, quiet voice slid back in, the one that's been whispering to you your whole life. You're behind. Behind who? You just won. You just crossed the line you'd been chasing for years. And somehow, standing on the other side of it, everyone still looks further ahead. And the line itself has already moved, shimmering, back into the distance. Here's the part that should stop you cold. That feeling has almost nothing to do with where you actually are. You could double everything you own tonight and wake up tomorrow feeling exactly this behind. Because you are not losing at life. You are losing to a machine, an invisible one. It runs in the background of every human mind. It never sleeps, and it has been quietly rigging the score against you since the day you were born. Tonight, I'm going to show you the machine, where it came from, why it can never be satisfied, and how a rare few people found the one way to switch it off. It has a name. I call it the status machine. Every morning, the status machine wakes up before you do. Your alarm hasn't even stopped ringing. The room is still dark, the floor is cold, and before your feet ever touch it, your thumb is already moving, reaching for the glow on the nightstand. You haven't had a single conscious thought yet, and the machine is already running, already counting, already measuring you against every person on that screen. And it does this to you all day. It's why the win never lands. The second you have the thing, the machine drags the goalposts back into the fog. It's why enough always seems to live one step past wherever you're standing. You'll give this machine years, real ones, the only ones you get, chasing a finish line it keeps quietly pulling away from you. And the cruelest part? It will make you want things you don't even want. It will make you chase a whole life you never actually chose, just because it flashed someone else's version across your eyes at 7 a.m. But the machine has a blueprint. Scientists have been reverse engineering it for 70 years, and the very first schematic they ever found came from a train platform, crowded with soldiers coming home from a war. 1945. The war is ending. Across the world, millions of American soldiers are finally coming home. And before they go, the U.S. Army does something no army had ever done at this scale. It asks them how they feel. Hundreds of thousands of questionnaires, the largest study of human satisfaction ever attempted. And buried in the results is one answer so strange it will confuse psychologists for the next 50 years. The Army compares two kinds of soldiers: the military police, where promotions were rare and painfully slow, and the Army Air Corps, where promotions came fast, where an ambitious man could climb the ranks quickly. Then it asks both groups the same question: how satisfied are you with your shot at promotion? Common sense screams that the fast-rising airmen should be happier. They're the ones getting promoted. It was the opposite. The military police, the men stuck at the bottom the longest, were more satisfied than the airmen flying up the ranks. How? How does being stuck feel better than rising? Here is the schematic. The military policeman looked to his left and his right and saw everyone else stuck at his level too. So being stuck felt normal, even fair. But the airman looked around and saw men rocketing past him. So even as he himself rose, he felt like he was falling behind. Neither man was feeling his real life. Each was feeling the gap between himself and the men standing next to him. The Army had just accidentally photographed the status machine's only fuel: comparison. It doesn't run on how you're doing. It runs on how you're doing compared to the people around you. A few years later, a psychologist named Leon Festinger proved this isn't a soldier thing, it's a human thing. When we have no ruler to measure ourselves with, and we almost never do, we grab the nearest person and measure against them, automatically, endlessly. So here's the first thing the machine never wanted you to know. The voice that says you're behind isn't reporting a fact, it's reporting a comparison. Stand next to different people, and behind turns into ahead, while your actual life doesn't change by a single inch. Which means the whole game hangs on one thing: who is standing next to you? So what happens when the machine makes 8 billion people stand next to you at once? For 300,000 years, the machine had almost nothing to work with. Picture the world your ancestors actually lived in. Firelight, a circle of maybe a few dozen faces. An anthropologist named Robin Dunbar found the number is burned into our biology. The human brain is built to track only about 150 relationships. That was the whole world, 150 people. And to feel like you mattered, you only had to do okay among those 150. A decent hunter, a good mother, a trusted elder. The scoreboard was small enough to hold in 2 hands, and it was winnable. Now come back to that dark bedroom, the cold floor, the glowing screen. In the 90 seconds before you're even fully awake, the machine parades more winners past your eyes than your great-grandparents saw in their entire lifetimes. The 22-year-old in the supercar, the couple on the white sand beach, the body, the mansion, the person your exact age who already made it. Your comparison wiring, tuned over 300,000 years for a village of 150, just got handed 8 billion people. And not even the real 8 billion. The machine is clever. It shows you only the top sliver, the filtered, edited, best half-second of the most successful people alive. And it whispers, "These are your neighbors. Keep up." Do you feel the trap closing? In a village of 150, you could be the best at something. In a world of 8 billion glowing screens, there is always someone richer, sharper, more beautiful, further down the track. And now they live in your pocket 24 hours a day. This is why becoming more successful never silences the voice. You could become the most successful person in your entire city, and tomorrow at 7 a.m., the machine will still find you the one person who makes your stomach drop. The game was winnable at 150. At 8 billion, the status machine has made it mathematically impossible to win. So take your first real victory tonight. You are not failing at this game. The game is built to be unwinnable, and nobody even told you that you'd been entered. You were handed a race with no finish line and 8 billion runners, and then blamed for not being in front. But the machine has a subtler cruelty than sheer numbers, because it doesn't just show you too many people. It only ever shows you the wrong slice of them. Let me tell you about a man alone in a workshop. It's the late 1970s. His name is James Dyson, and he has an idea for a vacuum cleaner that never loses suction. Everyone tells him it's stupid, so he builds a prototype himself by hand. It fails. He builds another. It fails too. He changes one tiny thing and builds another. He does this, brace yourself, 5,126 times. 5,000 failed prototypes. 15 years. He burns through his savings. He sinks into debt. His wife keeps the family afloat teaching art classes, while he disappears into that workshop night after night, surrounded by 5,000 versions of his own failure under one swinging bulb. The 5,127th prototype worked. Today, James Dyson is a billionaire, and his name sits on a machine in millions of homes. Now here's the question that matters for you. When you picture James Dyson, what do you see? The billionaire? The famous name? The success? You don't see the workshop. You don't see the 5,126 failures. You don't see the debt, or the 15 years, or the nights he nearly walked away for good. And that, right there, is the status machine's favorite trick of all. Because think about the last person who made you feel behind. What did you actually see of them? Their result, their finished, polished, already arrived success. What the machine hid from you was the 10 years of quiet failing that came first. The rejections, the version of them that stood exactly where you're standing right now. Broke, unsure, certain everyone else had it figured out. Nobody posts that part. Every overnight success you've ever envied had its own workshop full of 5,000 failures. You just never got to see it. But the machine doesn't care. It takes their chapter 20 and lays it right beside your chapter 3 and lets you draw the obvious, crushing conclusion. Everyone is ahead of me. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, your bloopers to their trailer, your workshop to their showroom. And here's the quiet heartbreak folded inside it. While you stand there looking up at them, feeling small, they are looking up at someone else, feeling exactly the same way. The person you envy is envying someone too, all the way up the ladder. There is no top rung where the machine finally goes quiet. So take your second victory. From tonight, you never again get to glimpse someone's result and honestly call yourself behind. Because behind needs a shared race, the same start line, the same clock. There is no shared clock. There's only your chapter and theirs, and you are never even on the same page. Now, if this machine makes us so miserable, you'd think we'd want less of it. You'd think, offered the choice, a person would just take more for themselves and stop caring what anyone else has. So a team of researchers at Harvard put that belief on a table, literally. They sat people down and slid 2 imaginary worlds in front of them. World A, you earn $50,000 a year. Everyone around you earns $25,000. World B, you earn $100,000, double, but everyone around you earns $200,000. In World B, you are richer in every way that actually exists. Twice the money, twice the buying power, twice as much of everything real. About half the people chose World A. They chose to be genuinely, measurably poorer, to hold half the actual wealth, as long as they got to stand above the people around them. Sit with that. People will burn half their real fortune just to feel ahead. They don't want to be rich. The machine has trained them to want to be richer than you. There's an old line that a wealthy man is just someone who earns $100 more than his wife's sister's husband. We laugh because we know it's true. And it's true because of this. For most of us, enough was never a number. It's a position, a rank, and a rank can only exist by looking at someone else. This is the engine bolted to the center of the machine. You think you want the house, the car, the title. You don't. You want the status they broadcast, the feeling of being ahead. And status is a shadow on the wall. You can sprint at it your whole life and never once touch it, because the instant you reach the spot, ahead has already slid to wherever you are not, which is the exact mechanism behind the most haunting experiment in this entire story. In 1978, 3 researchers go hunting for the happiest people in America. They think they know where to find them. They go looking for people who have just won the lottery. Ordinary people who, days or weeks ago, became rich overnight. the luckiest human beings alive. And then they do something strange. They also track down a second group, people who, in that same stretch of time, survived accidents that left them paralyzed. Some would never walk again. Then they wait, they come back, and they measure how happy each group actually is. The result broke the brain of everyone who believed money buys joy. The lottery winners were barely happier than anyone else. Worse, many reported that ordinary pleasures had gone gray. A warm meal, a friend's joke, sunlight through a window just didn't land the way it used to. And the people who'd lost the use of their legs, nowhere near as broken as anyone predicted. Most had adapted. Most were, once again, finding real joy in small, ordinary days. How is that possible? Because of the machine's deepest gear. Scientists call it the hedonic treadmill. Whatever happens to you, win the lottery or lose your legs, you adapt. The incredible becomes normal. The new salary becomes just the salary. The dream house becomes the house you live in. Within months, the thing you swore would finally make you enough becomes your new baseline, and the finish line of enough slides quietly forward to sit exactly as far ahead as it always was. There's a name for this precise heartbreak, the arrival fallacy, the certainty that when you finally arrive, you'll feel whole. So you sprint, you sacrifice, you arrive, and the wholeness isn't there because the line moved the instant your foot came down. It was never a real line. It was painted on the road one step ahead of you, and it moves at exactly your speed. Remember the finish line from the very start, the one that slid into the fog the second you crossed it? Now you know who's been moving it. The status machine has been repainting it, one step past you, your entire life. You've been running at the horizon, wondering why you never reached the edge of the world. So here's the whole machine, finally in the light. And seeing it clearly is the most freeing thing you'll feel all year. The status machine isn't evil. It isn't even broken. It's ancient survival wiring, built for a firelit village of 150, where knowing your rank truly kept you alive. It's still just doing its job. The tragedy is that we tore it out of that little village and dropped it into a world of 8 billion glowing screens, a treadmill that speeds up as you run, and a finish line painted on fog. You were entered into a race you never agreed to run, on a track you didn't design, scored on a board you've never seen, against people who don't even know your name. And here's what the rare, quiet, free people finally understood. They didn't beat the machine by winning. You can't win. That's the one rule of the machine. They beat it by stepping off the track. They stopped running everyone else's race and started walking their own. The one where the only runner ahead of you is who you were yesterday, and the only finish line is the one you paint with your own hand. Because behind needs a shared race. Take away the shared race, and the word dissolves in your mouth. There is no behind. There never was. There's only your road, your pace, and a direction that is yours to choose. The machine won't shut down. You can't uninstall 300,000 years of wiring. But you can starve it. You can choose who stands next to you. You can choose which screen you stare into and which one you throw in a drawer. You can stop running. Because the only way to beat the status machine is to stop playing its game. So before you close this, one action, tonight. It's small, and it is the single most powerful lever you will ever touch. Pick up your phone. Go to the accounts, you already know exactly which ones, that leave a little bruise every time they slide across your screen. The ones that make the machine loudest. And mute them. Unfollow them. 30 days. You're not weak, and you're not running away. You are doing the one thing 70 years of science says actually works. You are reaching into the machine and changing who stands next to you. That is the only dial in this whole system your hand can reach, and almost nobody ever turns it. Then do one more thing for me, down in the comments. Name one thing you have right now that a younger you would have lain awake dreaming about. Not a humble brag, a real one. Because when you say it out loud, the machine goes silent for a second, and your words might just silence it for the next stranger scrolling past. Now let me leave you with this. Tomorrow morning, the status machine will wake up before you do. Your alarm won't have stopped ringing. The room will still be dark, and the old voice will already be there, waiting, before you even open your eyes. You're behind. Let it talk, because now you know its name. You know where it was born. You know it's measuring you against a race that was never real, on a track you never chose to run. Somewhere out there tonight, there's a person you envy. And somewhere out there, in the dark, there's a person quietly envying you, lying awake, aching for the exact life you keep apologizing for, the one the machine won't let you see. You were never behind. You were only ever facing the wrong way, staring so hard down everyone else's road that you never once turned to see how far you have already come. So turn around. The only person who was ever ahead of you is the one you'll be tomorrow. Power has always belonged to the few who understood it. Now you're one of them. Read carefully, because the race was never real, but the road under your feet always was.